So, I guess we're up then with Joy of Kaizo. Super Mario World ROM hack I'm going to show. What's remarkable about this hack is we're going to have 3 different difficulties. I'm going to do beginner any percent. And as an incentive for myself, I'm going to donate $1 for every missed throw I'm going to make. For like a missed throw with a shell or with a throw block, I'm going to donate $1. So I'd appreciate it if chat could count for me.
Yes, and hi, I am Barty. I am going to comment on Necro's run, and I am going to join in on that incentive. So if everyone in chat could please keep track of Necro's missed throws, we would greatly appreciate that.
Alright, done. Time will begin in 3, 2, 1.
Alright, so the first thing you'll notice about this hack, this is a Kaizo hack or a Super Mario World ROM hack. I'm going to talk a little bit about those and what those are later. What you'll see, you might have been expecting some Mario action on screen, but you might have noticed that Mario has grown a beard and an afro. That is because in this hack you're actually playing Bob Ross. So please get your Kappa Ross and your Cool Story Bob ready in chat for whenever something great happens on screen. Every single level here is a portrait made by Bob Ross, or inspired by portraits, and each level name does also have the episode number for that portrait in its name. Now, in this first level here, you'll probably notice the great, beautiful aesthetics. There's beautiful pine trees, happy little trees, as I would say, some great mountains and other stuff, but the enemies and the obstacles are all vanilla Super Mario World. Now, in this first level here, there's really not much finicky going on. There's really not any speed strats. Necro just have to avoid all these regular Kaizo obstacles, ride the spiny, do a little death just to show us all how hard Kaizo can be, and just get to the finish line. Now, a Super Mario World Kaizo hack is, simply put, a moderated or edited version of the original Super Mario World game for the SNES. And with Kaizo, it is really, really difficult. A Kaizo hack is much harder than any normal Super Mario World game. Often the hack consists of different obstacles that there's only one certain way to solve, and everything you see on screen is either there to be used or to kill you. So if you get a power-up, it is because you have to do certain things with the power-up to progress through the level. Now, the second level here, the secluded beach, is where we'll be starting to see some of the more common speed strats. Now, this obstacle here is a chuck gate. He just has to avoid that, so he can do the next obstacle in a first cycle. Now, what we mean when we talk about cycles in SMW is that enemies and obstacles on screen spawn at certain times, depending on how close or far away Mario, or in this case Bob Ross, is to the obstacle. So often, when you play this game for the first time, as we would call the blind playthrough, you would usually wait out and see what the obstacle is before you try it out. As you can see the shell moving there, that went an entire turn around before it came back up, so Necro could jump on it. That was a jump on the second cycle. If Necro had gone right away when the shell first showed up, we would have called that first cycle. Now, if you were lucky, you could just see Bob Ross being Big Bob there for a small second, but he was turned little again. As you saw, he got that mushroom, was able to spin jump on the blocks to destroy them, which is impossible if you're small Bob, and then right away losing the mushroom at the munchers at the bottom of the screen. He also avoided quite a nasty Kaizo block there, and a Kaizo block is a hidden block. That is a vanilla feature in the original SMW game, which is basically a hidden block, but in Kaizo games they are there exclusively to kill you. So many creators choose to put a Kaizo block before a jump, so the player is going to hit the block and fall down into a pit. Now, this is a rather slow level since you're riding Spinies and Rexes, so if we do have any donations, I believe this would be a great time to take any one of those.
Oh, that's just perfect. We have a $10 donation from Anonymous saying, "Great job, Kettle and Shellbird." And speaking of Shellbird, donating $45 saying, 9 deaths equal $45. Good luck, Necro and Barty, on your run. Thanks for having us, and shoutouts to Jay Kaizo.
Nice. Thank you so much, Shelber. That is very, very generous. And Kettle and Shell, you did an amazing run back there. Kettle's run was absolutely amazing, and Shelber's commentary was really amazing as well. And shout outs to Jay Kaizo. Now, I'm sorry for this, Necro, but Necro was the world record holder in this game for both Annie %, which is when you're not doing the entire game, or beat the Devil %, as it's called in this hack, and 100% when you do every single exit. But on Friday, Jay Query, which is a very good friend of ours, got approved his world record run, which he submitted like 2 weeks ago, and he didn't tell anyone. So right before Necro's ESA run, Jay stole his world record. So shout outs to Jay for being an amazing Kaizo player and for that lovely, wonderful world record. And also, again, shout outs to the rest of the Kaizo community, because if you are interested in trying to get into Super Mario World ROM hacks, or just Kaizo in general, that is one of the most amazing, welcoming communities on Twitch. I believe so, 100%. It was really inclusive to both me and Necro when we first joined, and to Shell and Kettle, who you saw earlier, and to everyone else who joins. So if you're interested in playing Super Mario, don't be scared to join in on some streams. Talk to people there and get yourself started on your lovely Kaizo adventure. And speaking of lovely adventures, as you can see here, Necro is truly, truly enjoying the beautiful Bob Ross background, and he wants to show you guys that multiple times. So he's choosing to do some intended deaths here, not because of speed strats, but basically because he just wants you all to appreciate that lovely color palettes, those beautiful obstacles, and those happy little trees in the background. Also, for those of you who might be unfamiliar with Kaizo, dying is a very, very natural thing in Kaizo ROM hacks, or SMW ROM hacks in general, because as there's only one intended way to beat the obstacles, it's really, really hard not to die. So in speedruns, in speedruns of other games, it's quite common, to not really have any deaths at all to get a good run. But a world record run in a Kaizo hack can have multiple deaths. There are very, very many hacks where a world record holder is having 10 or even 20 deaths in a hack. And I believe in Necro's previous world record, he had someplace between 5 to 10 deaths in this hack. So dying is a very, very natural thing in Kaizo hacks. And to prevent him from dying, he's going to grab that star once again, and he's trying to get something we call P-Speed. Now, P-Speed is when you are running with Mario, or as I've said earlier, Bob in this case, after a set amount of tiles, your speed will increase and you will see his movement pattern also changes. And that final obstacle there, that star will run out very, very quickly. So if the star runs out at any point, right, either when he's walking on the munchers or while he's hitting the munchers while jumping, he will die. So you really need to be fast and get that P-Speed and keep that until the final jump, because it's really easy to die at that final ceiling. But when Necro got there, he beat that right away. Now, this next level here is what we would call a Yoshi heat level, kind of like a puzzle level. And the true difficulty here is actually figuring out the correct order of feeding Yoshi the different obstacles. So you can hit that P-switch, get the blue shell, which gives Yoshi the ability to fly, and then just fly through these happy little munches and other obstacles here. When we get through the pipe, we just drop our newly grown Yoshi to his horrible, horrible death, which unfortunately for Yoshi is quite a common end for him in Super Mario hacks. Necro, you might see, he did the jump right away, but there was a grey platform at the bottom which you could land on in your blind playthrough and then do the jump of Yoshi. Yoshi will of course still die, but as we all know in the Kaizo community, the Yoshi population is way too big and it needs to be kept in, or kept at bay rather. So the next level here, Cactus at Sunset, is a really, really interesting level with a lot of tiny skips. We're going to see here Necro is going to first cycle this plant, which is basically dodging the fireballs and jumping in between. And then he's going to kill that cactus by sliding on it. That's also a natural obstacle for the blind playthrough, not just in the speedrun. Because in Super Mario World, when you are on a slope, a downward slope or an upward slope, if you press down, you will slide. And when you're sliding, Mario will kill whichever enemy is in your way. Because if you jump on the cactus normally, you will just die. Also, right after the checkpoint there, you might have seen Necro turn around, go back for a little bit, and that's because he wants to despawn the fireballs. Because as I said earlier, spawning and despawning is depending on where you're standing on the screen. So you see he's spawning the fireballs, and then by moving away or getting the fireballs out of the screen, he can despawn them and then just do the jump right away. This level here has a lot of what we call re-grabs, which is where you jump or you hold the jump button and then you let go of it and grab it again to get a correct jumping pattern or movement pattern. And that jump we just saw with the triple dollar bill into a flying Koopa is actually one of the hardest jumps in the game, because you need to hit that final Koopa just at the perfect time, or else you won't make that final jump. But Necro just slides through it and does a beautiful, beautiful run of that level. So this next level is called Days Gone By, and this level is a time sink. It's an auto-scroller, and it's a slow auto-scroller at that. So if you die here in this first section, you can lose up to 50 seconds of your run, or of your time on your run, and that is a huge run killer. So this level right here has killed off a lot of world record page runs. And also, since this level is so slow, you have to do it the intended way, and not really do any speed strats. So once again, if there's any new donations, this would be a great time to read those out.
For sure. We have a $10 donation from Finks saying, Ruhrpott Kaizo going strong. Good luck to my man Necro and Barty. GG to Kettle for that amazing run, and all the love to the whole worldwide Kaizo community. We have an additional $10 donation from Anonymous saying, Shoutouts to Nara Google, the creator of this hack. I love those happy little coins. Smiley face.
Oh, that's wonderful. First of all, thank you, Fink. Fink is a lovely, lovely human being and a great Kaizo player. And I think he actually ran for your previous ESA event. Oh, sorry, my cat is destroying my house, I hear. Nara Google, the creator of this hack, created, I believe, 2 other hacks. One is called Claustrophobia, which is, I believe, 99 or 100 one-room or one-screen puzzles. And he also created another hack, which is probably not suitable for ESA, called Super Fart World. And you can all imagine why. Now, the thing with Naro, unfortunately, he's a retired creator, but every single hack he makes, he pays so much attention to detail and the aesthetics. This is not the only hack he has created, which has beautiful, beautiful backgrounds. But like every single level that man has ever made just looks absolutely amazing.
Before you continue, I will have to interrupt you very, very quickly, because we just hit $18,000 for Save the Children.
Wow, that is amazing. But thank you all to everyone who donates to ESA. Thank you to ESA for doing this. 18,000, that's amazing. I'm really, really happy to hear that. And hopefully we could get to 20,000. I like to aim big. I would like to see us reach 20,000 by the end of the marathon. So if you like what you're seeing or have been enjoying what you've been seeing so far during this entire weekend, please give a donation to ESA. They do an absolutely wonderful, amazing job. Both me and Necro is going to do a generous donation after this run. And if Necro is being a very, very generous person, he's going to miss some more throws so we can donate even more money. Now we are at the third section of this level. This is not an auto-scroller anymore, but rather it's a fishing boo part. And fishing boo is like every Kaizo player's favorite enemy. The reason for that is that fishing boo moves in an ellipse movement depending on your own movement, which makes it rather unpredictable. And that flame at the end of the rod is going to kill you if you touch it. So manipulating fishing boos is a really, really hard trick, and it has killed off many, many Kaizo players hundreds, if not thousands of times whenever they try to get past an obstacle, just as we saw Necro do now when hitting those munches, just because he's moving down right when Necro's trying to hit his head, and he bumps on the munches. Now, Necro's going to do what we would like to call the final boss of the Kaizo hack, which is the upwards pipe, because they are always janky and difficult to hit. Enter the boo house, which you actually can die to the ghosts outside in, and show us a lovely little cheese. Because right here, in this boss fight, in your first playthrough, in your blind playthrough, this is really hard, because the intended strat is for you to ride a disco shell, grab a throw block, hit the boo, ride a disco shell, jump on an on-off switch to get the spiky ceiling to move up and down again. Now, what Necro is doing is he just does it once, because he goes for one of the blocks on the edge of the screen, and then he goes to the middle and manages to quickly enough dispose of the boo with the two throw blocks in the middle. And that cheese is saving him a ton of deaths and also quite a few seconds. Now, we are getting to the second part of this run, and it starts with the windmill. And this windmill has the best music in the game. Also, this music is giving a lot of players who have played a hack called Grand Prix World 1 post-traumatic stress syndrome from a level called Cornwall. Now, in this level, there's a lot of finicky jumps, and the anonymous donator from earlier mentioned those happy little coins. In Kaizo hacks, you have what we would like to call coin indicators. Yellow coins usually indicate a movement pattern or a normal jump, while blue coins indicate that you have to do a spin jump. Because when Mario is spin jumping, you can actually bounce off many enemies and obstacles, which would usually kill you if you don't spin jump on them or off them. And the very special thing about all of Narugoogle's levels and hacks is that he actually has made those coins custom by reducing their size. In other Super Mario games, you would see the coins are always big, but in Naru's hacks, they're always small. And that makes the level a tad bit more visually pleasing, since the coins doesn't really clutter up the screen. Now, Necro's doing some lovely rope jumps here. Go to just spin jump through this tricky obstacle, spin jump on these plants. We see the blue coins indicating the spin jumps, yellow coins for normal jumps, and he hits the goal post. Absolutely beautiful, Necro. So, the next level, which we are getting to shortly, is the Great Pine. And that is quite an interesting design. In Kaizo, we have something we could call a sky tree, which is where you try to travel to the top of the screen, racing a vine. You don't really do that here, but you're still climbing to the top of the pine, which is the tree we are seeing. And once again, there's very many happy little trees in the background. Now, there are some skips that can be done here, and we see Necro trying to go for one of them, but it's really risky, because it's very easy to die. As you saw there, because you basically have to hit that jump from that platform at the exact right moment, or else you're going to hit some bunch of ceiling and die. We'll see if Necro tries to go for it again, and he does, and this time he gets it. Absolutely beautiful. And right here, you can do something called the Galumba jump. The Galumba is the name of the enemy we just saw him hit, and unfortunately died to. And the Galumba jump is actually a very old school Kaizo trick, where if you jump on a Galumba, you can pick it up, and after a set amount of seconds, it will start to wiggle and animate back to life. If you throw it upwards at the exact right moment, it will preserve its downward momentum, which means that if you're then jumping while the Goomba is wriggling, you could actually get lucky and hit the Goomba while it is falling down, and it will just shoot you upwards. That trick is rather janky and difficult to execute. So what we see Necro trying to go for here instead is what is the intended strat of the level, where you just have to wait for the Goomba to reanimate and try to pop up at the exact right moment. That timing is also a bit finicky, but it's not as janky as the speed strat, which is the Galumba jump. Now, he finally gets it. He waits for these Koopas, jumps past here, tries to catch the shell, go right away through this bullet bill obstacle so he doesn't die, and do a shell jump up on top. And right into the upwards pipe, and then we are going to travel back down the pipe, not the pipe, but travel back down the pine again. Right here, we have a very difficult throw with that blue throw block. Chat, I hope you're keeping tabs of how many missed throws we have. And right here, he needs to do like a tiny upwards jump so he can release that fuzzy. And wait for it here, jumping up and down on this block, and then ride the fuzzy down to the bottom of the level. Gets another throw block, so he can once again ride the fuzzy to the orb. Very good. So, next level is the Evergreen at Sunset. And the Evergreen at Sunset is basically a run level. This is every speedrunner's dream because you just have to go fast the entire way, because that's the intended strat of the level. He's hitting a P-switch to release a shell so he can travel all the way over to the other side of the level. Right there we see a rather cool trick in Kaizo, where he's spin jumping on shells that are right next to each other. And because of how the physics in SMW work, he can actually travel in a direct line from one shell to another, even though it would not be humanly possible. We see Necro get the most difficult jump in the entire level, the red shell jump, right away. So he can travel over here with the key, get back to the beginning of the level, put the key in the keyhole. We see Necro was really happy about that. That was a really good run of that level. And then just get over to the Graceful Waterfall. Now, Graceful Waterfall is a water level. And it is a known fact that no Kaizo player ever enjoys water levels. I know Kettle said the opposite thing, but Kettle is just plain wrong. Water levels are always horrible. Now, in this level, Necro is trying to first cycle this obstacle here, but he needs to be really fast. And the good thing is that if you don't manage to get the first cycle, you can always do it the intended way afterwards. To grab a throw block, try to throw it upwards to kill that urchin, and then just move through the waterfall here. Now, you see that those moving, the moving platform is on what we call layer 2. And because of that, he has to be really careful here. Because when you have layer 2 movement like this in a water level, you could actually fall downwards like if you weren't in water at all. And now we see Necro take an intended death, just so he can spawn this fish a tad bit better and save some seconds. But yes, anyway, the thing with falling normally in water levels is that might kill you, because if you don't get the swimming movement, you will just hit some munches and die. So we see Necro doing a very risky little strat there, but he's done that hundreds of times, so he knows exactly how that should be done without dying. Jumping up and down the Ripvan fish here, waiting for the layer 2 moving platforms to move back into position so he can get further up the waterfall. I think we're going to see him ignore a very risky speed strat here. He is to just get further up the waterfall. Now, with that red shell jump there, you can try to do that right away, and that can save you up to 15 seconds in the speed run. But you lose a lot of time if you're not getting it, since you have to go back down all the way to the checkpoint. So it's not worth it, especially not in the marathon. But if you're trying to get to world record pace, you should usually try to go for that skill. Now here we see him release another fish, preparing his spin jumps and getting ready to get up to the end of the level. There are some platforms here, a falling chuck trying to troll you and kill you, but he ignores it and gets that fish orb. So, the next level is called Campfire, and the funny thing is it doesn't really look like a campfire at all. When I first played this hack on my blind playthrough, I actually thought this was the final level, because it looks so evil. Just look at the palette here with the colors and everything. It just looks so dark and gloomy and scary. And we see Necro going here right away to just get all of these jumps on the first cycle to save a couple of seconds and get everything lined up perfectly. In the next section here, he's trying to get through the bottom part as fast as possible while avoiding the polygoons. So he can get P-speed here and then just ignore the twin jump completely. Now he just has to ride some ball and chains, try to not get in that very scary looking lava, which he manages to not do, and get to the checkpoint and the second part of the level. Now, what is coming up is probably what I would say is the scariest part in your first playthrough of this game. Because you might have noticed the dark, ominous clouds on the top and the bottom of the screen. Those are going to start covering the entire screen, so you are almost blind to what's coming up. And you will see the next platforms you have to jump to, but since you have no idea where you're standing, that is really scary. Now, the good thing is that Mario's position on the screen never changes, and as soon as you know that, this actually turns into the easiest part of perhaps the entire game, because you can just time your jumps perfectly, and we see Necro get through it without any problem at all. So this run is right back on time, and we're going to get to the final level of the run, which is very long and has an absolutely horrible first section. This is Necro's least favorite section, and I'm fairly certain it is Jay's least favorite section also, because of that lovely little fish down there, which is a fugu fish. Now, fugu fishes have a movement pattern that can be really annoying to manipulate. And also, there are dolphins coming here, which are trying to knock you on and off the fugu, up into the ceiling, and so on. And they will change your jump from a spin jump to a normal jump, and that can very easily kill you if you hit the fugu again. And we see here Necro is not trying to go for the pipe right away, and the reason for that being that the dolphins are very likely to kill you on their first cycle. But the second or third wave of RNG dolphins will always line up with a pipe, so you can get that perfectly. We also see Necro do a very nice little skip here on the first try, where he ignores the vine, and saves a couple of seconds by just doing that obstacle really, really fast. He also does this obstacle on the first try, so Necro is really, really impressing here. And we hit the bunches. But that's important. We need more deaths so we can donate more money. Now, once again, he gets the fireball on the first jump right there. And he's not doing the twin on the first cycle this time, trying to be a little bit safer, so we can enter the final room. Oh, sorry, not the final room, the third room. The third room here is also another like tight platforming part, and there's not really much going on here that's too interesting, so if you have any more donations, this would be a great time to take them.
Oh, for sure. We have a $50 donation from Mutter Westend with no comment, thank you very much. And a, well, who would have expected it, a $45 donation from Kettle, saying, $45 for my 9 deaths. Go, go, Necro and Barty. Thanks for all the support, everyone.
That's amazing. Thanks to all people who donate. That is truly great. Now, what we see here in this final room is a brand new skip that Necro discovered yesterday. This skip is actually less than 24 hours old. Because usually you would throw the shell through that magic thingy I don't know the name of there and keep the light on. But he found a way to ignore that, killing the magic thingy with the shell in a more cheesy way, and then managed to do that part in the dark, saving quite a few seconds. Now, this is the final boss, and this is the devil which you have to beat out of the hack. Now, in the beginning there, we can see Necro just ignoring the intended strat, because you're supposed to jump back and forward and back and forwards, and spend about... There we have it, 30 seconds, and Necro just gets it on the first try. Necro, GG, thank you, that was an amazing run, you did really, really well. Yeah, and there you have it. That is Joy of Kaizo Beat the Devil %. So, I don't know, Necro, do you have anything you want to say?
I'm really happy with how the second half turned out. Beginning was rough because this event made me really nervous. I'm so thankful for you guys having me here. And thank God my nerves came back in the second half. It was a good run.
It was a good run. It really was. So yeah, I would also say thank you, Necro, for letting me commentate on the run. This was really fun. I have to watch the VOD later because I know there's a lot of people from the Kaizo community watching right now, and you guys and girls and others are truly, truly amazing. You are all wonderful, lovely people, and we really appreciate all the support you've been giving both to Kettle and Shellbird and to Necro and me for these 2 Kaizo runs. And once again, if you like what you're seeing and would like to try some of these hacks for yourself, you can visit smwcentral.com. You could watch some Kaizo streams, talk to some people, whatever. It's a great, inclusive, wonderful, happy family, I would say. When we support each other, no matter your skill level, no matter if you like to play blind playthroughs or speedruns or whatever, it's the best community on Twitch. And thank you to ESA for doing this thing. And thanks
to you, Barty, for doing this great commentary.
Once again, thank you, Necro, for having me. And I believe this is it for us. So thank you to ESA for allowing the Kaizo block on.
Well, before we go into the intermission, though, I just want to say that that has been my last shift for this weekend. So thank you guys so much for all the donations and all the support you've been showing so far, and that's still coming up. Like, we're not done yet. We hit $18,000, but as Barty mentioned earlier, I'm sure we can bring it up to 20,000. So guys, enjoy the rest of the marathon and take care.
Thank you, Mergy, for the amazing job you've done.
No, thank you.